I cannot wait to have this interview. But I'm going to be getting to talk to Richard Ojeda in a few weeks. Oh, I'm going to be so entertained. Richard Ojeda, of course, is the guy who he's the I've got to find his clips here. He is currently running for president, which I don't think he's going to get far because he's Richard Ojeda. But Richard Ojeda, where is this? He's got some really good clips. He's got a deal where he talks about how we're gonna knuckle down and we're gonna do all this stuff and we're gonna do. Oh, he dropped out of the race. Damn it! Well, that's probably why he's doing the show. There's no way I'm gonna. There's no way anybody who was currently running for president will come on this show. It won't happen. It won't happen. I did have the Pronto pup eating champion though last week when I was out there at the fair. He's like, if I win, the guy was getting ready to, he was gonna win. He knew he was gonna win. He's like, if I win, would you interview a politician? And I'm like, that is actually a funny program idea. Somewhere. We are going to have a program called Porn Stars and Politicians, where we'll have the porn stars come on and interview the politicians. I think it'll be entertaining. I don't know if the politicians would be entertained by it. I know that Cindy Close was not entertained that one year that I went to interview her out at the state fair when she was still active, and I had my sombrero on her, as I called it at that time, the Mexican hat. And we did this interview, and we got Ninja Larry, of course, was still with us at that time. And we got ready to go with, the interview. And she's like, well, I'm ready, whatever. And so Larry's like, okay, we're going, whatever. However he used to cue me. And I'm like, Jiggy Jag, back here at the Kansas State Fair with Cindy Close from KWCH News. And, of course, if you don't know me, I'm the master debater, the cunning linguist, and the admirable iteration. And little homage to the great Tom Likas. And she immediately interrupts me and she goes, no, we're not doing this. No. And I'm like, just calm down. It'll be over here in a few seconds. And we did the interview. CH would get a hold of me later and they're like, that can't ever air. And I said, what, with the intro? And they're like, that just can't ever air. So we aired it immediately. And then we had I did a follow-up a couple days later where I interviewed the great Roger Cornish. And when I interviewed him, I showed up. I think it was the day they had the governor cookie eating contest or governor cookie whatever the hell that is at the fair that they do. And or the governor shows up and she presents people with. She presents the best cookie, the best pumpkin, all these things. And we were going to be interviewing Brownback that day, and I'm like, I am not showing up in my Hawaiian shirt and my Mexican hat for this. I will wear the suit. And so I wore the suit. Suit then. But I wore a nice suit that day, and then while we were out there, so we did. And after we interviewed him and we put that up, of course, I always have these IDs that go before the interviews, or when we used to do IDs before the interviews, and it would be like, Hemlock. Hemlock would come out and be like, we're Hemlock, and you're watching Jiggy Jag TV, all that crap. And so we had one with, and ironically, she's the host of the ABN Awards this year, coming up this year in Vegas, Nikki Benz. Do an ID, and she was sitting there. Although we had covered up, we had put pasties over her nipples, but I covered up her covered up her nipples, and she's like, "Hi, I'm Nikki Benz, and you're watching Jiggy Jag TV." And so we put that up before the Roger interview, and then KWCH called me again, and they're like, "You got to take that interview with Roger Cornish down." And I'm like, why is that? And they go, well, because Nikki Benz is on there at the beginning. And I'm like, I didn't put her name in the title. And I told him, I said, well, I'm glad to know that you know who Nikki Benz is. And of course, he's like, well, you know, Nikki Benz is a porn star. And I'm like, well, once again, ding, 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 look who won the pony. I'm like, yes, you know, you not only know her name, but you also know she's an adult porn, or adult pornographic actress, as they used to say. She's a porn star. And he's like, well, you got to take that down. And I said, well, you might want to get a hold of YouTube, and they will take it down. Now, in the era that we live in now, they would be able to get a hold of YouTube, and they would take it down. But back then, YouTube didn't care. So, but YouTube had not been bought by a publicly traded company either. So, there was some problems there. But we... why did Ojeda drop? Okay, here we go. Richard Ojeda drops out of the presidential race. He ended his long shot presidential bid. Oh, this was in January. Oh, he's been gone for a while. Okay, well, that's fine. Yeah, it doesn't matter. And then we have Mindset coming on here or no, this is the song Mindset. The Bad Guy. BG the Bad Guy. So I can make references to the Hot Boys and Lil Wayne and Juvenile, because they had a guy in their group named BG. And of course, if anybody remembers Cash Money Records, BG was never actually had a rap career. All BG did was he showed up in the videos and in their stuff, he would go, ha, ha. That was it. That was that guy. If you ever heard any Lil Wayne music in the or Cash Money Records, and you heard a guy halfway through the song go, ha, ha, that was BG. I don't think he's related to BG the Bad Guy. Now, of course, I could make also Scarface references today. Say hello to the bad guy, all that stuff. And then I could make references to Razor Ramon, who was the bad guy. So, but why we... okay, so we're getting music. So that means that they are on their way here. So hopefully we have that. Oh, by the way, we need to talk about my buddy Jason Klein today. We won't break kayfabe. We're not going to break kayfabe today, and basically do the equivalent of Iron Sheik and Hulk Hogan backstage having a beer in '84 at the Garden. We're not going to do that. But we are going to bring you an update on lovely Jason. So we're going to take a time out. When we come back, we've got more on the other side.
Jiggy Jaguar.
Hennessy, Grey Goose, Lortan, Percocet, everybody jacking that. Hennessy, Grey Goose, Lortan, Percocet, I'm cheese, jazz, everybody jacking that.
www.Jiggy Jaguar.